So I'm here to tell you a story that has two beginnings. And I know it's not usual for a story, but it is for mine. So my first beginning was March 8th, 1983, the day I was born. And I'd say for the first 40 years of my life, I had a pretty normal life by all stretches of the imagination. You know, I had both parents there for me. I went to school, I went to college, I went to university, I had a string of jobs, I got the house, the car, I got married. You know, just a normal, regular human life, along with all the complications that sort of life would entail. So I had things go wrong, bereavements, job losses, arguments with friends and family, and estrangements, and, you know, usual human stuff. Unfortunately, the way I was, I never really processed or dealt with these things as they happened. I just kind of let them all pile up and never gave them another thought. And I guess right before things changed dramatically 2.5 years ago, I was riding a unicycle on a tightrope with an increasingly precarious balance of things in my hands, and just trying to keep it all going with a smile. And then things changed. One fateful week in January of 2021, when I had two quite unfortunate things happen within a few days of each other, and my life blew apart quite spectacularly, and I very nearly didn't get back up. And I was very close to not being here making this recording today. And I guess that was probably where my second beginning happened. Now, why do I call it the second beginning? Well, up until that point, I was very normal, for whatever that means anymore. You know, I never really thought too much about life in general. I never thought about spirit. I never thought about, you know, I just thought about, where's my next paycheck coming from? What's the next games console I'm going to buy? What's the next flashy car I'm interested in? You know, what are my friends up to? And, you know, and then all those things just kind of fell away, and it made me realise that everything I'd taken as concrete up to that point is fleeting. They come and go. They're not certain. And when I stripped all those things away, or when they were stripped away from me, I didn't really know who I was. I didn't know what I wanted. I didn't know what was important to me. I knew all the things that weren't important to me, and I knew what I was afraid of losing. And so the second beginning was, I had to begin Paolo 2.0. Like, who was I when what I thought was normal life wasn't there anymore? And the truth is, I didn't know. I had no help, no real guidance. I fell into some very strange circles on Telegram, because that's a very interesting place when you dig deep. And I started learning about, I guess, what would be the catch-all term of spirituality. And, you know, I started rediscovering, like, how do I feel about faith, how do I feel about, you know, and I ended up in a lot of very weird metaphysical rabbit holes. And then, I guess, I started to be a bit more discerning about what was important to me in those regards, and I started repairing myself in a manner of speaking. I put myself back together enough that I could function, but it wasn't enough. This was almost the return of Paolo 1.0, and I didn't want that because none of that mattered anymore. Having the best paying job, the big career, none of it mattered. So last year, in an attempt to work through what had happened in that week, I wrote a book, or I wrote a manuscript, or I wrote something that I learned later was a manuscript. I didn't know what any of this was, mainly because I had friends who were like, "Hey man, you're a really good storyteller, you should write a book." And I was like, you know what, you keep badgering me about this, fine, I'm just going to write a book. So I wrote a manuscript. I went to all these publishers, and they were like, "Nah, man, we're not really, you know." And honestly, I was this close to just go, I'll publish it myself. And then I had a complete shot in the dark with these two people who were recommended to me. You might know them, Angela and Dana. You might have heard of them. I don't know who these people were. But you know what? They took a look at the manuscript, and Forever Connected, the book that manuscript has become, is going to become a reality. Now you'll notice I'm not talking about what happened in that week. It's all in the book. This isn't a plug for me to be like, oh hey, if you want to find out, go buy the book. I mean, you should go buy the book anyways, it's awesome, so I'm told. But I could talk forever about what happened that week. It changed my life. I'm still in the healing process, and I've got a long ways to go. But that book was the distillation of everything I learned in the first year after my second beginning. And I want to pass that on to the reader. And the subsequent works that will come after it will follow the rest of my healing journey. And I just want to shout my publishers, because honestly, I didn't think this was going to ever happen. And they've helped me open doors that I didn't even know were there. So aside from the book, there are other things that I'm now working on. And if you need some help with your own healing journey, that's what my work is going to focus around. I want to leave the world a bit better than I found it. So, yeah, that's my message, I guess. I've been Paolo Trepiccione, and look out for Forever Connected.